Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a little bit of an intriguing topic going on where, in all honesty, at this point in this day and age, I'm getting a little bit sick and a little bit tired of all of these basically big retailers, the Walmarts, the Targets, the Best Buys, and everything out there, still having to go and have us go and pay all this money and make their own scalping and basically trying their best to go and skim off the top for trying to make as much money as they can off all these desperate people trying to go and buy and get all their PlayStation 5s, especially a little bit on the Xbox as of now, but still at this point it's mostly on the PlayStations. And I kind of want to see if you guys would agree with my thoughts, agree with my comments and all that stuff as well. So throughout the video, if you guys want to chime on in and leave your comments and stuff down below, I would actually love to go and hear it. But as well throughout this entire video too, I just want to talk about it because it just kind of feels like this entire past few months especially has been a little bit rough, especially as the consoles are going to be becoming a little bit more normal, a little bit more normalized to go and get, and that's why I kind of want to see if you guys agree or disagree. And as well, I just want to remind you guys too, probably one of the last little bits of time is going to be promoting on out, but we only have just only a few more hours left if you guys want to go and check on out the brand new Samsung monitors for the easy pre-reservations and pre-orders and all that good stuff. Check it out with the link down below. Go and get a bunch of free easy money off and a bunch of cool stuff. I just want to be curious and read up more on it. Feel free to, no commitment needed or anything like that. Link down below. Make sure you guys go clicking on up. We have the Amazon links as well down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream down below, the Weeble and Coinbase down below, and we have all the other various stuff too as well. I don't know, I was you guys up on Twitter and Twitch, so I appreciate you guys up for that one. So let's go and talk about this. So as you guys know, my channel, we've been doing a lot of tracking for the PS5 restocks and gaming news and Xbox, a little bit on the GPU side. But the one thing that still, to this day, is actually somewhat frustrating to me. Now, I understand why a lot of these big retailers do it. We'll talk about that. But it stinks. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you guys probably live underneath a rock. I'm at this point, you guys probably live in the ocean. I don't know. Maybe you guys just don't have any internet, whatever it may be. But as of right now, pretty much every big retailer has a somewhat weird requirement to go and make it so you could buy your consoles. Now, there's a few of them that I think are still the worst. GameStop number 1 and Best Buy number 2. Well, probably Best Buy number 1 actually, but GameStop on top of that's just a really big culprit to try to make money. And then there's a few of them that are kind of more in the mid tier where it's like the Amazon with the Amazon Prime, or let's go and say, let's say Walmart Plus. Like they're not the worst, but it's still annoying that they're underneath these paywalls. And then lastly, I still have the golden child, which I will always give credit towards this point, Target, that actually doesn't have to deal with that at all, which is very nice to see. And my big issues with this, and this might be a little bit more of like a GameStop rant, a little bit more of maybe a Best Buy Total Tech rant too, which I've done on the channel before, but my big issue is that it's been so long. For us, we've been doing these console restocks for how many months now? It's been getting close to 2 years. And even now still, we are still seeing locations like GameStop that are trying their best to go and make as much money as they possibly can. Now, I understand they're a business. There's nothing wrong with that, trying to turn profits. And at the end of the day, if people are spending the money on it and the products are selling out, they don't really have to change anything, do they? And I'm sure they realize that. I'm sure there's a bunch of big wigs over there in some courtrooms talking about how we can maximize profit and how we can keep our business alive and all of that. But at least for me, and a lot of the people who watch my channel, the moms and dads, or even kids out there, just trying to get their first gaming console, or they've been saving up, mowing lawns, or whatever they may be doing, saving up allowances, or birthday presents, whatever, it kind of makes me sad to see all these big retailers scalping and trying to make as much money, and try to make as much money on the top as they possibly can. Now, as I mentioned, I do think the two biggest ones are probably GameStop and Best Buy. So with this, I want to preemptively say this because this might be some of the comments. I understand that it does sometimes tone down on scalping. I do understand that sometimes bundles calm down on scalping. I understand that sometimes having these preemptives like Walmart Plus or Amazon Prime also tone down on botters. I completely get that. I understand that, and I kind of can somewhat justify why they're doing it. But at some point, these big retailers do have to go and stop with these big additional things. And we're not sure exactly when or where or how. Now, I do think maybe Walmart had a good rough idea, because if you guys remember a while back, we saw a lot of Xboxes up in stock, and we do on occasion see those, and that had no requirements for Walmart Plus. They just had leftover stock, and they were down to go and sell it. I think that seems like the perfect format. But as of right now, I still think GameStop's a big issue, where for them, you need to have the $15 Pro membership, which that by itself isn't the worst. But just put this more on the blanket of you just don't need it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a gamer, you might enjoy it, but you would need to go and pay that $15. Thankfully, it is for a year, but you have to pay that $15, and it's just kind of lame. It costs a lot of money. It's just, at this point, it's dumb. So they're basically trying to go and scalp on top of the consoles, because even just by that alone, if they just did an extra $500 console plus 15 bucks, they're still making an extra $15 for kind of basically doing nothing, just being a big retailer. At the end of the day, it's not really worth it. But let alone the fact that GameStop still wants to do big bundles, so they have that, with their consoles and everything else. I think that's lame. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the idea that we have to go and have bundles on top of paying $15, on top of them also, once again, from the last prior drops we mentioned a lot, trying to even sell TVs. And I just don't like it, because it really seems like these are like the true scalpers. Now, granted, they are big retailers, and they do want to try to tone down scalping and buy themselves. I get that. But that's why I don't really like things like Best Buy. Because throughout these past few years, we've seen actually quite a few total tech restocks. And, well, it is optional. It might be even just an extra perk for total tech. $200 a year still to this day is insanity. I still can't believe someone approved that, and I can't believe that they actually have had sales or even sell out for total tech. Now, I think that's just more of someone already has it, so at the end of the day, we kind of get it. But I just hate this. And even Walmart Plus. Now, Walmart Plus, we kind of touched on this too as well. It's not the biggest deal, but the one thing I hate, the biggest caveat, is that it's only for a chance to get your consoles. A chance. And that was pretty evident too when it came to the drops, the drops we've been watching for, and whenever you see the drops in general. And that's one of the things that kind of makes me sad, because then people complain. You do have to have it be a paid membership, so it makes sense, for the trial. I'm sure the trial would have had a lot of botters, and it does prevent botters. It is good. If people get the consoles, I'm happy with it. I'm not against it. Sometimes you got to pay the extra 20, 30 bucks, just how the world is. I get that. I get that. I just feel at some point it does need to stop, and at some point they need to go make that decision. And hopefully a lot of these retailers aren't going to try to hold on and kind of price gouge as long as they possibly can, just so they can make a little extra money and just so they can get a little bit more of a top line. It's not the best news to see. We don't like it. So, when it comes to that stuff, Walmart, but if people get the consoles, it's nice. It prevents botters, it's nice. But the fact that it's not a guaranteed thing, that's what makes me sad. The fact that someone can go pay $13 and they don't even get their console, and they maybe have to have it on auto renewal because they don't know when the next restock's gonna be, that's what makes me sad. And that's why I keep on thinking a lot of these places are kind of price gouging up a lot. And it just kind of stinks. And now there is also some other benefits too when it comes to say a Costco or Sam's Club, where it's or BJ's wholesalers, where it's for their actual market, and I totally get that. Or even Gamefly, I get that. You have a lot of botters and people want to get the consoles either way, so you might as well reward someone who's a member and kind of give them more extra membership perks. I get that too, but once again, it's kind of lame. It is just kind of lame. And I don't know. At some point, we do need to move to the point where these consoles are hopefully just on the stocks and shelves. Maybe whenever the scalping price goes down, so whenever, it's just more normal people are getting them, so you don't have to have so many preemptive measures, with anti-botting stuff or programs or accounts and all that stuff, which I could also, as I mentioned a few times throughout the video, understand that is kind of a big, detriment, a big kind of calm down for a lot of this stuff. It makes sense to me. I totally get it. But at the end of the day, I just wish it would stop. Now, this is kind of wishful thinking, and I understand why it's there. I just literally just said 2 seconds ago. But, it stinks. A lot of these places, and throughout the past, year or so, have especially been a little bit more pushy in terms of them trying to make money. In times, they understand that these consoles are big hot sellers, and they just want to go and churn out as much profit as they can. But once again, that is a business. I understand it. I totally get it. But it just stinks. It really does stink. Now, some things like Amazon Prime, a lot of people have Amazon Prime already, so it's not the world's worst workaround. But, and same thing too when it comes to, I always have to get Target too as well for just never having it. But I just kind of wish at this point, a lot of these big retailers like the Walmarts, the Amazons, and Best Buys, instead would just have a better anti-botting measure and just be able to release the consoles online, or just keep on doing really good in-store event drops and having people do proper walk-ins. Because it really does kind of seem like a lot more normal people, because you can't bot in stores, are, well, getting all those consoles from that. And that's what I like to see. That's what I like to vibe with. That's what I like to know is going on, that normal people are getting consoles, and that also that these normal big retailers like Walmart, Amazon, etc. are not making a bajillion extra dollars just to go and pry on extra, people who just want their consoles that are desperate. And I think at this point, these big retailers just got to work their systems out and get it all done, because at the end of the day, this should not have been as bad these past 2 years. So, and I also just want to give an honorable mention. Thank you very much, Target, for never having for us to have to deal with this so far. They never had any subscription services. They never had any credit card requirements, and all the other ones have, and it has had their merits and purposes. But you always got to give some love to Target, because Target's always been a pretty big bad boy, making sure our gaming community has always been proud. So thank you, Target. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below on this little rant. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? I kind of want to know. And as well, make sure you guys do keep on checking out the Samsung links down below. It's very close to being done. Check it on out. Go and see. Go get your reservation. Get your free money. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. The Twitter and Twitch room down below. The Amazon links down below. The Webull and Coinbase and all that good stuff as well down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching and for existing. You guys are all beautiful. And I'll see you guys all later on for more videos. Love you guys.